This is the Louie T Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. First comes the preseason, now I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing, that Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing, that Super Bowl ring. Yeah. We in the lab room.
Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Wild Card Weekend in the National Football League. Carolina Panthers taking on the Arizona Cardinals, your 4-seed Panthers in the NFC, hosting the 5-seed Arizona Cardinals. I told you that this was going to be a defensive struggle. I thought it was going to be a defensive struggle. Now, let me first preference everything that I'm about to say by saying, first of all, congratulations to the Carolina Panthers, because I'm probably going to go on a rant or two throughout this breakdown. So I want to make sure that I extend a congratulations to the Panthers for getting a win, for Cam Newton getting his first playoff victory, for this town getting a win. The crowd was electric, man. I was glad to see BOA rocking the way they were, waving the white towels, and they were electric, and they hosted the game, and they came out and they showed well, and it was an environment that you could easily see a team having a tough time in, and this team defensively showed up. I don't want to downplay what the Carolina Panthers did defensively, because we sit here and we talk about, and I was on Twitter the entire game, I told you I would be, and I saw all of the Ryan Lindley bashing. Well deserved, I might add, but he was bad for a reason. I mean, make no mistake about it. Last week against the San Francisco 49ers, he threw for over 300 yards. So he was bad for a reason. It wasn't by happenstance. It wasn't just because he's Ryan Lindley, even though that had a lot to do with it. The Panthers' defense is good. I talked about these two teams coming into the game with deficiencies, clear deficiencies. Both of them were going to struggle offensively. We saw the offense struggle for the Panthers. We saw the offense struggle the entire game. Struggle is too kind of a word for what the Arizona Cardinals did on the offensive side of football. They ended up with the lowest amount of offensive total yards in an NFL playoff game in NFL playoff history. 505 playoff games. No one has had a worse outcome offensively, yardage-wise, than the Arizona Cardinals. So credit must be given to that Panthers defense, because they forced the issue. And with that said, congratulations to the Panthers moving on to the divisional round of the postseason. With that out of the way, though, there's a lot of things to chomp on in this game. And I always say, you know what? Golf clap right away to the NFL. I always ask them to get the worst game out of the way for me. Please do that quickly. Get the worst game of the weekend out of the way. Last year, I thought that Chiefs Colts was going to be the worst game. That turned out to be the best game of Wild Card Weekend. They did us a huge favor, because I'm glad, first of all, I was glad that these two teams were pitted against each other, because we knew Arizona was going to be facing an uphill battle with Ryan Lindley at quarterback. And I knew Carolina was going to struggle. And so I didn't want them to put another good team against these two teams and mess up two different games. Mess up one game, get it out of the way, and let us enjoy the rest of our Wild Card Weekend. That's what they did. Now, let's jump into this game, though, because this game was just crazy. It was just crazy. So you start with, and I talked about the deficiencies of both of these teams coming into the game. With the Cardinals, we assumed that it would just be the offense with Ryan Lindley at quarterback. No one took into consideration that the special teams unit would be their undoing in this game. Now, granted, you knew that anytime you talk about a defensive struggle, and which is what I thought this game would be, I said final score would be 16-10, and I picked Arizona, so I'm off to a bad start, so you know I'm upset about that. But anytime you talk about a defensive struggle, that means automatically, without even mentioning this, without saying it, special teams comes into play. And if you win a defensive struggle, you have to win special teams as well. That's without saying, that's a given. If you're going to win a game 13-10, 16-13, your special teams unit has to be on point. And no way could we have imagined that the Cardinals special teams unit, primarily punter Drew Butler, would come out and have such a porous outing. Nobody saw this coming. Now, let's jump into this. Drew Butler with a terrible punt on the opening possession. And you know how I feel about coaches electing to get the football first. Bruce Arians, old school head coach, 62 years old. He wants the football first. To me, stupid idea. You know how I feel about that. I'm not going to beat that horse. It's already dead. But what are you accomplishing by getting the football first? I've already went into this whole spiel before. I'm not doing it again. But he gets the football first. They go 3 and out, which would be a theme on the day. And Drew Butler comes out and kicks a stinker of a punt. And so the Panthers already had the football in Cardinals territory before they even hit the field offensively. So they get on the field, they put together a couple of first downs, they end up kicking a 47-yard Graham Gano field goal. It's 3-0. So right there, you can go ahead and charge 3 points to the Arizona Cardinals special teams right there as they give away a field goal to start the game. Another bad Drew Butler punt gives Carolina great field position that turns into a 13-yard Jay Stu touchdown run after Cam needles a throw in to Grego for a first down, getting him down to the 13-yard line. Next play, Jay Stu, 13-yard touchdown run, 10-0 Panthers. And at this point, everybody watching the game thought, man, this one could get ugly really quick. If Carolina stays out of their own way, the Panthers will win this game going away. The Cardinals will self-destruct. If they just punt the football, if the Cardinals don't turn it over and Drew Butler just has to punt the entire day, they're going to lose this game because he can't kick the football. That was apparent earlier. It's okay to shank one. It's okay to have, you know, another punt go a little south, but to just continuously do it all game long, you already knew where this was going. So if you're the Panthers, you just say, hey, look, let's just keep playing defense. Let's not do anything stupid. Let's not turn the football over. Let's just stay out of the Cardinals' way and let them self-destruct on their own. They'll do it. They're proving it right now. The offense is putrid. The special teams unit can't kick the football past 35 yards. Let's just play defense, force them to punt. They'll give us great field position. And whether we kick field goals all game long or get it in the end zone, we're going to win this game going away. Just don't help them. That was the motto after 10-0. Don't help the Cardinals. Let them self-destruct on their own. Big mistake by Burnson. I've talked about this, and my hashtag on Twitter was leave the kids at home. I talked about that going into the postseason. I talked about that with Kelvin Benjamin, and he had a drop, and we'll touch on that in a second. Leave the kids at home. Burson, he struggled all season long. So has Philly Brown in the punting return game. So I really don't know where you turn to if you are the Panthers. You really don't have many more options to put back there. So guess you got to stick it out with the young kid. But after that, what the hell was he doing? This isn't baseball. Why the hell are you down on a knee fielding a punt that is bouncing on the ground? Let it go. What are you doing? You're not a catcher. You're not blocking the football. Move out of the damn way. That was a bonehead decision. They'll talk to him. They'll fix that. He caught the football the rest of the game. Did have one bobble, but again, It's a nasty day, rainy, wet. You can understand how you could have some issues, but that was inexcusable. You're on a knee, you're blocking the football like a catcher trying to block a slider in the dirt. What the hell are you doing, man? Get off the ground, let the ball bounce, let your offense get on the field, get this great field position and get some more points. Instead, he muffs the football by touching it. Cardinals special teams ace Justin Bethel recovers the football, gives the Cardinals some field position. They know what to do with that field position. They move the football down the field, and they get some help. It's third down and long. The Cardinals have struggled in third down to this point, haven't converted one all game long. Charles Johnson flagged for personal foul, roughing the passer, gives up a free 15. Then Ryan Lindley on one of his better throws, and this was actually a terrible throw, so that gives you an idea of how bad he was on the day. One of his better throws to Larry Fitzgerald that luckily wasn't picked off. Larry Fitzgerald makes a grown man throw, and so Snake Eyes comes up big with a grab and then fights for extra yardage down to the 1 yard line as we end the first quarter. Panthers up 10-0, but the Cardinals are threatening after the mistake by Burnson on the punt. So you go to the second quarter. And the first play of the second quarter is play action fake, beautifully designed play. They're selling out on the run. You know they think run is coming. And wide open in the back of the end zone is Darren Fells. Easy 1 yard touchdown toss by Lindley to Fells. It's now 10-7. Cardinals back in this ball game after being dominated for the first 15 minutes of the game. They're now within striking distance at 10-7. Cam misses a wide open Ed Dickson again. He missed Ed Dickson on the opening possession where they ended up getting a field goal. Dickson probably would have scored with a good throw on the first possession had Cam just brought it down just a little bit and he had to dive and catch it. He was already up in the air, leaving his feet, probably going to fall down. He still would have had them first and goal from about the 8 yard line. Instead, Cam airmails it over his head by about 5 yards. They have to settle for the field goal. Well, on this possession, they get a beautiful look down the sidelines. Ed Dickson wide open. If he catches this in stride, who knows? He may score. He's behind the defense. I don't know if he's fast enough to get into the end zone, but I tell you what, it would have been a huge, about 40, maybe 45-yard gain down the sidelines, if not a touchdown. Cam misses him again. So Cam errant with the football. That was something that I worried about. I talked about the deficiencies of both teams. I talked about the Panthers having a deficiency offensively, and that's why, because they're not a team that is efficient with the football as an offense. They make a lot of mistakes. They miss open receivers. Cam, that's been a hallmark of his career, missing guys wide open because he just don't. Is it me or does Cam lack touch? It seems like every pass is a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Every one of them just comes out with a lot of heat. Maybe on the screen game he has a little bit of touch, but I'm talking down the field. Boy, there's not a lot of margin for error on his throws. They're all missiles. You got to be able to catch. That's why I love Greg Olsen. Greg, oh! Because that dude didn't drop anything, and Cam never takes any mustard off that football, including a fastball that he throws to him on this drive on a sliding catch by Olsen. Just a 97-mile-an-hour heater, and he gets it in there with a lot of zip by Cam. Beautiful throw, one of his better throws of the game. But on this possession, it was the running game. They took over. They stole the show on this possession. Jay Stu, who I talked about in the pregame as the guy that you needed to get involved, keep him going because he had been your best ground game getter over the last month of the season. Well, Cam and Jay Stu combined for 40 yards, runs of 10, 18, and 12 on consecutive plays. Takes them all the way down deep into Arizona Cardinals territory. But you get a great catch on one play by the wily vet Jericho Cotry, a one-handed stab. Again, Cam not showing a lot of touch. Throws a fastball. Cotry able to deaden the impact with one hand, get it to come down, and able to corral it before going out of bounds, getting both feet down. Great catch, phenomenal catch by the veteran. The very next third down, that was a third down catch by Cotry. The next third down, Kelvin Benjamin, I talked about him dropping the football. Another reason why this team has a deficiency on offense, not taking advantage of opportunities. Cam hits him right in front of his face mask, right in the hands, and he drops the football on third down. Hey, hashtag leave the kids at home. So they have to settle for a Graham Gano field goal, which Gano misses, pushes it left. It's still 10-7. And so the Cardinals, who have been dominated in this game, still hanging around. I talked about this all season long. Don't let teams loiter. They talk about, hey man, what you doing? I'm just hanging around. I'm just chilling, man. Don't pay me no mind. Kick them out of here. Get them out of the stadium. Don't let them loiter. Don't let them hang around. Get rid of these boys because they're a dangerous team. They play defense, and that's something that can sustain you in this league. And so after another, I sound like a broken record here, another Drew Butler stinker of a punt. The Carolina Panthers start at the 33-yard line of the Arizona Cardinals. And the defense, if not for this defense of the Cardinals, I'll tell you what, this game is over midway through the second quarter. I mean, this defense stood up time and time again, got off the field, they blitzed Cam. They weren't hitting home a lot, but when they did hit home, they made it count. And another situation where they bring some pressure, Cam is able to hang in the pocket. Miscommunication between he and Jericho Cotchery. He's expecting Cotchery to continue on the dragger across the middle of the field. Cotchery thinks the ball has already been thrown. He turns around. Ball comes his way. It's picked off by Cromartie, who also had a chance at a pick earlier in the game. He had a beat on a Cam in-breaking route on a slant. So Cromartie saw something, jumped this one, was able to catch it, and great tackle by Cam. I was saying to myself, Cromartie, you got to score there. With the way this offense is going, you can't leave it up to them to get in the end zone. You need to score there. Cut inside, make Cam make a play. Instead, he tries to outrun Cam. You're not outrunning that guy. He's an athlete, pushes him out of bounds at the 17-yard line. I'm thinking, you're going to have to settle for a field goal now. But Cardinals are able to make some things happen. The running game was a huge part of them getting down there. Get down to the 2-yard line. Marion Grice gets in the end zone from 2 yards out. They rule it a fumble on the field. Instant replay overturns that call. He clearly got the football over the goal line. It's a touchdown. And unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was watching because this game should be out of reach. The Panthers have dominated this game 6 ways to Sunday. And yet I'm staring at a 14-10 Arizona Cardinals lead deep in the second quarter, and I'm just flabbergasted at the fact that they're winning this game. They don't deserve to even be in this game, let alone winning. It's 14-10, and that's why I thought they had a chance to win. That's why I thought they were going to win this game, because I said that I thought that their quarterback, Ryan Lindley, was going to be able to stay clean. And for the most part, for the first 3 quarters of the game, that's exactly what he did. He stayed relatively clean. And yes, I'll talk about that later on. I don't want to get off track. So it's 14-10. Cam Newton takes his team down the field. Beautifully orchestrated drive right before the half. Not able to cap it off with a touchdown, but again, against a Cardinals team that is offensively challenged. Just take the points. That's what they do. They have a holding penalty. You just see all of the mistakes the Panthers are making. Pushes them back from a 29-yard to a 39-yard field goal on a holding, but Gannell still knocks it home, makes it 14-13. That's your halftime score. Now, one thing that happened right before the half, Ted Ginn Jr. has success on the last kickoff right before the half, gets a beautiful cutback and makes it down the sidelines, picks up about 40 yards on the kickoff. You want to count the yards he was in the end zone, make it about a 48-yard. He caught that about 8 yards deep in the end zone and ran it out. So put that one in your back pocket. Remember, he had some success on a kickoff. He catches 8 yards deep and makes something of it. Put that in your back pocket. We'll come back to that a little bit later on. It's 13-14. Cardinals lead this game by 1, even though they don't have more than 50 yards of total offense in the first half. Unbelievable as they've struggled in this game. I believe they might have had 62 total yards at the halftime break. Either way, it was an atrocity by this Cardinals team, especially on special teams. Yet they still lead this game 14-13. You go to the third quarter, and I feel like I should just have a Drew Butler stinker button that I can hit that allows me to not have to say he makes another bad punt and puts his defense in another, just a bad spot, another compromising position as the Panthers have the football at the 39-yard line. Now, this is twofold. This is a two-folded problem here. It's one, your offense needs to sustain offense. Stop going 3 and out, deep in your own territory. Stop putting the punter on the field, deep in his own territory, so that when he kicks the ball 33 yards, 27 yards, 30 yards, you're not giving the other team the football inside your own territory to start the possession. How about you pick up 2 first downs, flip the field position, and if he kicks a clunker, at least it'll be in Panthers territory where they got to drive outside of their own territory to get into Cardinals territory. So it's a two-folded equation, and both the offense and the special teams let this Cardinals team down. But either way, your punter is paid to do a job, and he only has one job to do if he's the holder on field goals, and he has two jobs. But other than that, you got one job to do: punt the damn football and kick it further than 35 yards. Okay, that's all you got to do. And he couldn't even do that on this night. So gives the Panthers the football at the 39-yard line. And I kept saying, the Panthers need to take advantage. They keep settling for field goals. They're going backwards, having to punt. How many times can you get the football in Cardinals territory and not come away with a touchdown? Take advantage of these opportunities. And I actually tweeted that. I said, they need to score a touchdown and take advantage of these opportunities that the Cardinals are giving them with this porous offense and special teams. And on the first play of that drive, that's exactly what the Panthers did. As Fozzie Whitaker catches a screen, eludes a couple of Cardinal defenders, breaks some tackles, gets into the secondary, and scores on a 39-yard screen. And to really give them a jolt of energy, they needed this because it was crazy. I looked up at the third quarter clock and I said, man, the Panthers ate up half of the quarter with that possession and didn't come away with any points. So if you're the Cardinals, the clock is your friend. You're not scoring many more points in this game. So if you can somehow eat up this clock, and the Panthers did you a huge solid by doing half of that in the third quarter, you're going to have a chance to win this game. Because again, a defensive struggle is what you want because your offense isn't getting the job done. But that screen pass really put them in a bind now because not only are they down, but they're down a touchdown. They're down 6. So now they need a touchdown, something that the offense won't be able to get on their own. Going to need some more help from the defense or the Carolina Panthers special teams maybe, or maybe their own special teams, which takes us to our next problem. After the touchdown, Panthers are up 20-14. Remember that kickoff return I talked about before the half where Ted Ginn had a little bit of success? It went straight to his noggin. And this is what prompted him 9 yards deep. Literally, his heel was almost on the out-of-bounds line when he caught this. It prompts him to come out because he had success on the kickoff right before the half. It went straight to his brain, and he thought, I can do it again. I can make a play. We can't get anything going offensively. If I make a play, I'll be the hero. He tried to play hero ball. Take the knee, let your team start at the 20-yard line, see what happens. Even though we already know how that movie ends, so still, don't be the GOAT. He tried to be the hero. He turned out to be the GOAT. He gets hit by Melvin White. Ball comes gushing out of his hands. Looks like a Cardinal is going to fall on it. It's a wet day. It's a slippery ball. Ball is already hard enough to pounce on when it's a nice day outside. Try making it a slippery ball. Those K-balls are already slippery as it is. They don't land on it. The Panthers do at the 3-yard line. You know what's about to happen. And so now up 20-14. First and goal from the 3-yard line. Panthers are about to blow this thing wide open. And then Ron Rivera shows exactly why I can't stand him as a head coach. Because on first down, he calls a quarterback draw. First of all, Cam is getting his ass handed to him in this game. He's limping, he's grimacing, he's banged up, and you're going to call a quarterback draw when you got Jay Stu back here being a man, had 100 yards at halftime, and you won't turn around and give him the ball on first down? What the hell is wrong with you? That's exactly why you're an idiot, and I can't stand Ron Rivera because he's not a good head coach. Okay, second down. You run the football. Where's Jay Stu? Okay, I don't know who the hell was in the game. I don't even remember what the call was, but it was a pointless call. It was stupid, and the Cardinals snuffed it out for like a 2-yard loss. And so now you put yourself in a third and goal situation from the 5. We know it's going to be a pass. They try to come out in a big formation to give the illusion of a run. You're not running a football here. And the Cardinals know it. They play it well. Tony Jefferson, one-on-one coverage with Greg. Oh! And they call pass interference. Are you kidding me? The officials were horrendous in this game. They picked up a flag against the Cardinals on illegal contact when they said Cam had already thrown the ball. They go to instant replay. They show that the contact took place with Cam still clearly having the ball in his hand. These officials were terrible. Then they let go, and this was at least 35. Look, the Cardinals need all the help they can get. And Ryan Lindley finally lets the ball loose from deep in his own territory. I like his 5-yard line. Throws about a 35, 40-yard pass down the field to Michael Floyd. He's being held mugged on the play by Josh Norman, who has his arm for about 2.5 yards, and they don't throw a flag. But yet, you go down to the goal line, and it's a good play by Tony Jefferson, and you throw the flag for that? Unbelievable. That is just the epitome of terrible officiating. Look, the Cardinals are bad on their own, okay? The offense stinks. The punter can't kick it more than 35 yards. They're struggling. Don't hurt the Cardinals anymore, especially this defense who's fighting their guts out. Don't hurt them anymore than they already have been by the offense and the special teams. Don't do that. Let the guys on the field decide the outcome of the game. Don't do that. That flag, and I knew after they called that penalty, the Panthers are getting in the end zone now. Very next play, great call, play action fake, easy walk-in touchdown for the bowling ball. Tolbert on the touchdown. Mike Tolbert gets in, makes it 27-14. To me, the game's over at this point. There's no way the Arizona Cardinals, who still don't have over 70 yards of total offense in this game, no way they're going to come back, score 2 touchdowns, and win this game. All the while having the Panthers not score another single point in this game. Not happen. So to me, the game was over. Bad call by the officials. I thought the officials just had a rough go of it the entire game. I thought they dropped the ball. And this is part of the reason why I don't like having officiating crews be mixed. Don't pull the best guy from this crew, the best guy. Let the best crews call the games. They're comfortable with one another. They know how to make calls. And so I thought that was just a terrible call that really impacted the outcome of this game. Panthers take a 27-14 lead. You go to the fourth quarter now, and to me, game's over. But thank God for this Cardinals defense. Bless them. Bless their poor hearts, because they gave it everything that they had in this game, and they got no help. And so Sam Acho, man, he's got to be Acho, man. Acho forces the fumble of Cam Newton as he's trying to throw the football. It's recovered by Rashad Johnson. And I said, Rashad, you got to score. I felt like Waterboy. Can you do this for me, Rashad? There's nobody else out there that's any good. Can you score a touchdown? I needed you to score a touchdown right there, man. And it was funny. I was about to tweet my man T-Money. He was on Twitter the entire game. And I'm not up there often, so I'm assuming he's up there all the time. But my man T-Money was up there, and I was about to tell him, Rashad Johnson should have scored there. Y'all are going to get a stop. Now, when I said a stop, I didn't mean a turnover. I was thinking more along the lines of forcing them to kick a field goal. But then I stopped myself. I said, look, Cardinals are 2 for 2 in the red zone today. They've had 2 opportunities to score a touchdown, and they've scored both times. So you know what? I said, I'm going to hit the pause button on that tweet. I'm not going to send it out because maybe they'll score. And I said, look, this was being challenged. You know, they had to look at it. It's a turnover. All, you know, turnovers and scoring plays are reviewed. So they went to look at it under the booth. And we all saw that it was a fumble. So it would be 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, it's crazy as this sounds. If they score a touchdown here, we're early stages, 4th quarter, they've got a shot at still winning. Because Cam is 1 turnover, 1 bad throw. And we'll talk about that in a second. From, giving them an opportunity to steal this game. So what I want everybody to do right now is open up your Bibles to the book of Luke. Chapter 5, verse number 9. And it reads, "Thou shalt not try the Panthers' D proper." And so, my man Luke Kuechly had to step up and make a play. And that's what this guy does. And I think I misspoke. Last time I did a video, week 17, I believe I said the Panthers don't have the best of anything on their team. Really, I was referencing the offense, but I can't make that statement. I was wrong because he's the best middle linebacker in the league. And, I wanted to throw those 49ers guys in there when they're healthy. No, it's not up for debate. Watching him in this game and just watching him all season, this guy is a monster, man. And whenever a play needs to be made, it's either him or Thomas Davis making a play. But Thomas Davis is around the ball, but he doesn't make plays. This dude makes plays. And this pick right here solidified, A, how bad the Cardinals were on offense. B, how bad Ryan Lindley was at quarterback in this game and see just how good this defense was this game, and D, how good Luke Kuechly is as a linebacker in this league. He's outstanding. He had a tip of a pass late in the game when the Cardinals were threatening one final time to end up getting picked off in the end zone by Trey Boston. This dude is everywhere, man. This guy is phenomenal. Find me a better linebacker in the league than Luke Kuechly, and I will find you a liar. That guy is the truth. And so, what a play by him to basically put any hopes of a Cardinals comeback to rest. Cam takes a shot later on in the game, and this is another reason why I'm so uneasy about this team. He's getting hit. You got to take the sack at this point. He tries to throw the football. If Tommy Kelly was athletic at all, that's a pick six. I know about 10 to 15 linemen that would have picked that off, or at least dove and had the interception at that spot. Man, not necessarily caught it in the air and picked it off, but would have dove and caught it. I mean, look at the play that Jordan Hill for the Seahawks had last week against the Rams, where he dives on a pass that's intended for the ground and picks it off the shoe tops. I mean, there are some big 300-pounders that would have picked that thing off and been running with it like it's Sunday dinner. And so, caught a break there. That was a bad play by Cam, and he injures himself there. And I just said, what are we doing here? Run the football. The Cardinals are inept. They are incapable of picking up a first down. They are incapable of punting the football. Why are we throwing the football here, guys? What are we doing? You're up 27-14. This game is over unless you make a mistake. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, guys? Ron, what the hell are we doing here? And see, that's the problem I have with Ron Rivera. He doesn't get it. But anyway, in any event, they are able to stymie the Cardinals. They get a late safety because the Panthers didn't want to punt the ball in their own end zone with 3 seconds left. Your final score is 27-16. Panthers get it done. They win this game. Should have ran away with this game. The Cardinals, man, I feel bad. I feel bad for Larry Fitzgerald. That's probably his last game as an Arizona Cardinal. He can't get a break. He can't get a quarterback that can throw him the football. I feel bad for this defense of Arizona because this team had the most realistic shot of playing the Super Bowl in their own stadium 2 months ago. And then Carson Palmer goes down. Then you say, all right, well, fine. They still can be a formidable team with Drew Stanton. He goes down, and now all of a sudden you're left with Ryan Lindley. And I saw all of the tweets online about benching him and putting in Logan Thomas. And to that I say, look, I asked Ryan Lindley to do one thing before the game started. And he, up until midway through the fourth quarter, he had done that, Don't turn the football over. Don't turn the football. He was terrible. He was putrid. He was an atrocity. He was grotesquely bad in this game. But he did the one thing that I asked him not to do for 3 1/3 quarters. He did not turn it over. I said, look, let your defense play. Now, did I expect the special teams to throw up all over themselves? Did I expect Drew Butler to find himself out of work because of what he just did in this game? No. Who saw that coming? I didn't. I expected Drew Butler to do his job, do it adequately enough to give the defense a chance to stop this Panthers offense, and he couldn't do that. And so because Drew Butler couldn't kick the football, it made Ryan Lindley's performance look that much worse. And really, he had done what I asked him to do. He did what Bruce Arians asked him to do. Don't turn it over. If you got to take a sack. But don't put the defense in any precarious situations. Well, special teams did that for him. So when he turned it over in the fourth quarter, he said, hey, that about sums it up. That's when I said, okay, you know what? If he wants to go to the young fella, now's the time. Because I don't mind now. Because for the first 3 quarters, even though he was bad and everybody was calling for his head, I said, he hasn't turned it over yet. He hasn't done anything bad yet. Because if you put the young fella in Logan Thomas, he's going to turn it over. I can assure you that. Logan Thomas is going to throw some interceptions. So as long as Lindley isn't doing that, I'm fine. He started throwing interceptions. That's when I said, all right, you can pull the plug now. So, all in all, Panthers get it done. They dominate this game. Should have won by more. But again, if they play anything like this next week, doesn't matter if it's Seattle or Green Bay, they're going to get destroyed. Now, I'll say this. They want no parts of Green Bay. None. We've seen that story. We know how it ends. They don't want to play the Packers. But if they can find, if Dallas wins, which we all assume they will, and they get to see Seattle again, they're going to be able to give those boys a run for their money. Now, keep in mind, Seattle is a different animal at home, and every time the Panthers play these boys, it's in Carolina. But those games have been close. You know, it's always a slobber knocker between these two teams. You know, 14-10, you know, 12-16, you know, 13-7 type games, 9-7. The Panthers match up well with the Seattle Seahawks, and if they got to go to Seattle, they got a shot. So you're telling me there's a chance. We'll see. But either way, big win for the Panthers. They move on in the postseason with a 27-16 victory. I feel bad for Bruce Arians. I feel bad for the Cardinals defense because they didn't get a shot. They didn't have a chance. But you knew what you were going into the game with Ryan Lindley. Special teams really let you down. And so that was probably the most disappointing part of this game. Not Ryan Lindley's play, even though it was bad. The special teams was really the story of this game to me. They never gave this Cardinals team a chance. And that's going to do it for the breakdown of the first wild card weekend matchup, Panthers hosting the Cardinals. I'll be back for the breakdown of the Steelers hosting the Ravens in the 6-3 matchup in the AFC later on tonight. That's going to do it for me here in the lab room. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down the wild card weekend action in the National Football League here in the lab room. See you a little bit later on. Enjoy the football.
In the lab room.